Hello and welcome. My name is Walid Chaya.
I'm Kavita Raj.
And this is Lights,
Camera,
and Conversation. We did the pilot recently right before this episode, and this is episode 1 officially.
Oh my God, we're in the first episode.
We are so excited to dive in. Lights, Camera, Conversation is exactly what it sounds. So those of you that listened to the pilot, you got to know Kavita and I a little bit, and how we've met and what we both do in the industry. I myself am an actor, director, producer. I coach actors when I'm not on set myself. I love to produce and build my own projects as well as work with others. And that's how I met Kavita as well, who wears many hats as well. Kavita, just give us the short version in case someone missed the last episode.
Absolutely. In case you missed the last episode, I am a mom in the entertainment business. I have 2 girls who are musicians, actors, singers, models, dancers, and been navigating this journey for 10 years and just wanted to share our experience. Walid and I met when my kids joined his program and have been life buddies since then, mentor for us, and that's what we want to do here.
And besties, yes. So I run an acting studio. And that's how we, our paths crossed. And now we're so excited to bring a lot of our experiences combined, both of us, in entertainment and in business and entrepreneurship, but also pulling from, for me, film, TV, the acting world, and for you, Kavita, the music, the dance, and really together bringing all these art mediums.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the kind of confluence of our industries is really where, for example, my experience is that with my kids wanting to try all of that, right? So they've tried the acting, the music, the dance, and which is how we met. And the experience comes from all the learnings, and our conversation is a lot about just what we go through on a daily basis.
Absolutely, which brings us to today's topic.
Yes.
Today's episode is about acceptance and rejection. Isn't that right, Kavita?
Yes. Acceptance and rejection is something that everybody's going to go through very often, especially in this business.
Yes, let's take it from there, especially in this business.
Exactly, it's the creative.
Right,
and
so we face more rejection.
Exactly.
Right.
Even if people face similar amounts of rejection in other industries, in this, it just seems like it is more in the forefront because it is very much in your face, it's very public, and sometimes you don't get the memo. Sometimes you don't get the note.
Absolutely. I would say most of the time for actors, you do not hear if you did not get the job. It's just assumed that you didn't hear back from casting. And I always tell actors, it doesn't mean it's a no. It means not this time.
Correct.
Okay? It means that role wasn't for you. There's only one person the role can be given to. The fact that you had the opportunity to audition, and I'll dive into this more shortly, but, is the opportunity itself to make an impression, because if there's not a role for you here now, there might be one a little later. But I think there's something about whether you're a musician, a singer, songwriter, an actor, a dancer, the amount of auditioning we have to do, whether it's learning a routine in choreo, whether it's showing our vocal range, or whether it's showing our acting skills, learning material constantly, taking the time to learn an accent or a skill, or learn to play a song or sing a harmony for it, and then to go in and do it only to get rejected and not get the job.
Absolutely. And to your point, what it is it isn't necessarily about your talent. And that was very important to know, because it is human nature to take it personally. We're talking about acceptance and we're talking about rejection. And both of those situations are taken personally. So to remember that it was this role in this moment, and there have been so many factors. For example, in film and TV, it's like, maybe the kid didn't look like the parent. Maybe the parent was cast already, and your kid was great, but they didn't look like the other family members. It could be something as simple as that. So many different pieces of the puzzle have to fit in, and knowing that takes time.
Absolutely.
It takes like a few experiences to remember that and be like, you know what?
Yes.
I'm not going to take this personally.
When it's not me, it's you.
Exactly.
Right? And I think there's a line to figure out when it's not you and when it is, because, you know, this is something that happens with a lot of actors. They're like, I'm auditioning a lot, but I'm not booking. What's that mean? Is it me? And I think there is a nice medium to figure out if it is you. It's me. I'm the problem. It's me, right? So with that said, I think you having a consciousness of, are you bringing your best work to the table? Are you making sacrifices to learn the material and make it work? And if you are doing your best and you're still not, you know, getting the jobs or callbacks even, I think for the film and TV world, callbacks are a good signifier that you're on the right track. But if that's not happening either, you need to sit with your team, a trusted coach if you don't have an agent or manager yet, an acting teacher you love, and just look over your recent self-tapes, look over some of the recent audition materials you're presenting. But ultimately, you have to know first and foremost, you're setting your best foot forward, and you can use things like callbacks, even if you don't get the job, as a measurement. Is there something in music that's a similar measurement?
Yeah, I mean, I think, for example, in music, let's just say, like, you know, a music competition that you go through, or you go to a showcase where you're like presenting in front of label executives and things of that nature. It's very different. The industries are different, yet there are some core similar moments.
So how can I measure to know if I'm on the right track? Because you're not booking every job.
Right.
But how do you know at least you're moving forward in the right way so that you're not making the same mistake with the last booking with the next one?
Right, absolutely. I think that one of the key things in this situation is to make sure that you have requested feedback. Even if there is no such thing as long as you're being polite and respectful, I think communication is great. Asking for some kind of a thought on what happened. And if you don't get it, I think, as you said, talking to trusted people about where is it that I need to improve. Pivoting and making sure that you galvanize that energy of that moment.
Who are we asking feedback from?
Learning, you know. So I mean, like the people that were in the room, someone that if you cannot reach the people that were in the room, you know, anyone that may have connected you with that opportunity, self-reflection, ask for a tape. And a videotape, maybe you look at your tape and be like, what was the little missing thing? And how can I self-improve, right? That ability to take your time, move on from the rejection, and then to reflect on pieces that will aid you in self-improvement. Because that is about you getting to the next level and you take ownership of this. But you have that opportunity to be like, I am going to put my best foot forward the next time.
Yes.
And this may not, again, this may not be personal, this may not be about you or anything you did wrong.
You might get great feedback, but it still was not the job for you.
Yes,
and
exactly.
You know, I love that you're so optimistic and seeing the glass half full and brave to ask for feedback and find a casual way to do it. I'm sure it's short and sweet. Hey, if you have time, what did you think of this? If you have a tape, you take a look. For acting, it's a little tricky. You know, actors typically, the standard is to not ask casting for feedback. Now, this is where a manager comes in. This is where an agent comes in who might have a manager's touch. Where if it's the right role, a big role, something, a series regular, lead in an indie, something that could be a big break for you beyond, you know, your daily submissions, I'd say they should ask for feedback as well. Let's go with that. But what you said that I loved, Kavita, even beyond that, is the self-improvement and self-reflection, because you give yourself feedback.
Right, because you may not get the feedback in either scenario.
Correct.
Whether it's, you know, music or film and TV, you may not get it. You can ask, but you may not get it.
And so how do you still fill your cup? You fill your cup by, what can I do better? And I teach this to all my actors. This is huge. You need to have an acting log, okay? A spreadsheet with every audition you go to. Who is the name of the casting director? What office is it? What role did you audition for? What kind of project? Film or TV or theater? TV, what kind? Is it a sitcom? Is it a drama? What kind of sides did they give you? What did you wear for it? Did you talk about anything in the room? I mark all these things and I fill it out when I leave each audition. And then I give myself a grade. This is the part that's interesting. I grade myself. Now, some people do 0 to 5. Some people do 1 to 10. Some people do A to F. I give myself letter grades because that's just me. And you know what's crazy about it is I'll see where I could have improved. Oh, I needed more time with the material. Or, this was unclear because of the accent and I stumbled a bit.
Right.
Or, I did really great and I shined. So if I didn't get it, at least I feel good about that. Sometimes I give myself an A. I try too often to work hard to get that. But what's super exciting about that is when you look back, you'll find that you may have been in the room with that person before. You'll be able to pull from that experience,
Yes.
not just to improve the performance, but to also improve the relationship dynamics.
Right,
So when
right.
you're in the room at the next audition, you're booking the room, and that's what I want to talk about next. So let's shift to that together, Kavita. Beyond the material presented, how do we book the room, in music or in acting?
Some of the lessons we've kind of taken from life experiences. How is it that you can take control of the situation so that you can improve as a creator? And writing is a very fundamental part. One doesn't have to be the most gifted writer, but when you write and you improve on that skill and you work on it, you're creating opportunities for yourself and others. So that is a great way to spend that time positively after you've accepted the fact that, okay,
Yes.
this particular thing hadn't worked out.
So really being a content creator, being a self-starter, this is where the entrepreneur comes in, is critical to getting your work out there and booking the room, booking it yourself. And I want to tell you a story about a friend of mine, all right? My friend is fantastic. Her name is Lori. She had an audition for, of course, we all love it, Orange is the New Black.
Ooh,
It was in its
wow.
prime
Love
at
the
the
show.
time. It had just come out, super exciting. And she went in for the team that cast Orange is the New Black. And she was so excited for it. She didn't get the role. Okay, so she thought it wasn't good. Well, how crazy is it that that casting director showed Lena Dunham the Orange tapes, and she instead booked a role on Girls?
Oh my
okay,
gosh.
from her Orange is the New Black audition tape, she booked the role in another TV show. Okay, so the bottom line is she had booked the room, she did her best, she got in her head and let that get to her,
Yeah.
which when you leave the audition room, you've done the work, trust in the process, you let it go and you move on. But it did open a different kind of door for her.
Yeah.
So the key here is to be as prepared as you can, to book the room, and then to let it go. Lori did
Absolutely.
some of those things right. She didn't let it go, but gosh, was she excited when she did hear about that booking, and it put things in perspective.
Brilliant. That is such a great story to show that you just have to have faith in the process. You have to trust that if something didn't work out, you give yourself the time to, feel about it and then go to that next phase where you trust that it happened for a reason, and the next thing that's going to happen is going to open a very special door. And of course, continue to work hard, improve always as an artist, grow as an artist. It's not even improve, it's really grow as an artist and try different things. But what a great story. And yeah, you're so right. I think because she did that audition so fabulously, she was noticed and she got that other part.
Have there been times in either of your daughters' careers where you thought this was the opportunity, but they didn't get it, and then perhaps you found a different one instead that surprised you?
Oh my God, absolutely. I mean, we've had situations where, they've been in, a big televised music contest, and, you work super hard and you're doing great. And sometimes, it's just in that moment, you may have like a physicality, you may have like, after like weeks of being in a situation, you may have like a cold or something like that will affect your performance in your singing. And that's enough to temporarily kind of, you feel like the ground under you is like shaking. But it's amazing how just that experience and the positive showcasing of that was enough to land meetings and to land opportunities after that were pivotal in her next album, on her next release, and the kind of doors that it opened with people that wanted to talk to her about endorsements and people that wanted to talk to her about like collaborations. It's that confidence to showcase and share the story, also to talk about it, to talk about your experiences. People love to know not just those success stories. People also love to know when you've had a challenge or a struggle or rejection, because it is very human. and
Right.
makes you relatable.
And if you're thinking, well, how am I going to tell people my challenges? How do I tell them my success stories? You know, it takes building a relationship with them. You're not going to show up to one audition and spill your whole life history or biography, right? It's going to be over a series of time, getting to know these people, coming in for new opportunities that they're going to think of you for, and growing your community. So I want to circle back to that audition log I mentioned, Kavita. I said, keep your auditions tracked in an Excel spreadsheet, put all the details of who you meet and when. And I always tell actors this: once a season, which is 4 times a year, when you have news to share, send an email or a postcard, personalized, okay? Not spam. Really write it to their name. Make sure you write and remind them how you met them, and tell them what's going on. I just booked this. My new song is out. An episode that I have a co-star in is airing at this time. I'm in a play. I got new headshots. I got a new demo reel. I'm now signed with an agent or a manager. All these updates are exciting, and they show that you're working on your career and you're growing. So if 3-4 times a year we receive these updates, that's how we start to get to know you and build a relationship with you. See that you're in a play this season. The next one you're participating with a different kind of group. The next one you're doing a role using a language skill. Now we know you speak that language. And over time, we get to spread that history together and get to know you. And it'll just lead up from that. So I think you can increase your chance at acceptances and at getting rejected less when people get to know you more. But it's just like planting those seeds, and it's going to take time.
Absolutely. And it's just staying organized is really, it's something that some people have to cultivate and develop. But I remember that session where you trained the students on that Excel spreadsheet, and you showed us yours, and it was like incredible.
Yes.
And I think that, you know, a similar such thing is being maintained by the girls in their music journey, and it's helpful to have contacts, people, you know, all the different, you know, relationships, and it's kind of like a modern Rolodex, and it is so great to tap in on those relationships, and you never know what a collaboration will bring in the future. So.
Yeah. And, you know, I do like to say, and this is super important, when it comes to rejection, especially for a job or a gig, remember, you did not have the job in the first place.
Yes.
So you did not lose anything. Okay? There's nothing to lose when you have an opportunity. The only thing you're really losing is time.
Yeah.
And time is important. So you do have to decide, is it worth it? Because there is prep involved, right? To look your best. And apart from that, you know, there's nothing to lose. There's only something to gain.
Prioritizing also gets better with time and experience, right?
Okay,
As you
yes.
get better and better at your craft and all of these experiences, you start to realize, okay, this one is important for me to go to regardless of what the outcome is going to be, and this one I should just skip. So prioritizing becomes something that's great with experience, and you'll know, you know, when to do something and when not to.
Absolutely. All right. So now I want to talk a little bit about how we use our acceptance and rejection with roles to create our own work and really light a fire under our butt. So I'll start with me, for example. The roles I primarily got cast in really beginning and developing my career years ago in New York, from Madam Secretary to Blacklist, for example. I'm carrying a gun. It's a tough guy, tough character. So for me, I want to create content on the other end of that to really show my versatility, all right? Something where I'm playing a caring character, something funny, someone loving. At the same token, I want to use those bookings, and I want to book more similar characters because it makes sense since I have that experience. So there is 2 ends to that acceptance. Then the rejection comes in, not booking those other kinds of characters. So for me, it led me to create my first short film, Driving Miss Saudi, which came out in 2018. It's about a son. I play the son helping his mother drive when she's in the driver's seat for the very first time and panics. Inspired by a true story of women in Saudi Arabia who are legally allowed to drive as of 2018, when the short film also came out. So I dove into that, and it's opened so many doors for me. It gave me footage for my demo reel. It leveled out that playing field, and it made, you know, my rejection opportunities into something, you know, artistic, tangible, and positive for my career. What do you think about that? Have you done stuff like that with the girls?
Definitely. I think content creation is really something that we're in a time where we can take ownership of. So if a certain, you know, idea of yours was rejected, you take that and you try it out in the world on your own. So be it a song or be it a story, be it a script, if you know, like present a monologue on YouTube, or if you put out like a song on YouTube and you have this idea, you just never know. And I think feedback, the best feedback you're going to get is on social media from the people who are watching your video. They're going to be clear and honest about it. Especially if they don't know you, some of them will be like ridiculously brutal about it, which you can ignore safely because that's something that you should not
There's
let
always trolls.
affect you and your artistry. But there may be some feedback from that you can take as, you know, authentic, and use that to continue this fueling this growth. And I think that's something that my girls have very frequently done, which is to create projects, to put it out there and to try a song, to tease a song and see what like the fans on TikTok say, fans on Instagram say. And great things have come out of it. And these have been songs that they've been like, okay, I'm going to finish this song and actually put it out. And it's been a single that's released, and like,
and they
some of them
only
gone
get
viral.
better, right?
They
I mean,
do.
not just the material, but the quality gets better. Their execution gets stronger. Their creativity gets sharper.
Also, the other thing is in the journey of doing what you are trying to present, also learning other skills. For example, if you do not know how to produce a track, learn how to produce a track. If you don't know how to songwrite, maybe you take a songwriting class. In addition to your passion of singing, if you learn these other ancillary skills, you become very independent as an
If you're a
artist.
singer, take an acting or improv class.
Yes, exactly. But it'll
Right.
improve your stage presence, it'll
Yeah.
improve your video performance. And these things just make you more well-rounded as an artist and make you more independent as an artist. You're like less reliant on other people and able to do more of this yourself with a little more control. So
Absolutely. So content creation is key, and I was just excited after my short film because, and back to, you know, acceptance and rejection. As of today, it's been accepted to nearly 20 film festivals since 2018.
Yay.
We're towards the end of the film festival circuit now. It's opened up doors for me with
Congratulations.
interviews, with newspapers, with different, the World Expo, like the World
Yes.
Expo, presented a special screening for International Women's Day last year.
That's insane.
So it's just been incredible seeing the movie make an impact.
Yep.
But I will say the funny thing is, the first festival I submitted it to, and I'm not going to name names here, but it was the one that I did it for, and I got rejected from it. And I was like, gosh, I
Yeah.
made this movie to give myself more opportunities, and it's already not going places. And I got in my head. So keep it open, keep trying new things. And once the film was halfway through the film festival circuit, this is a tip or trick to get more acceptance, right? I revamped the poster. I made it a little bit different. I added the awards we've already won to
Yes,
it.
I saw
and I
that.
gave it a facelift, right? To get it through another round. And I think for actors, whether you're working on your own production or not, you revamping your headshots, you revamping your demo reel clips. Are they starting and ending on your first moment and last moment of great acting? If you're a singer, what could you be revamping?
right, I mean, you can definitely look into, is it the melody? Is it the person you're collaborating with? Do you want to add a feature to the song? Is it something that you want to, is it really about the song, or is it about the strategy in marketing? It could be something as simple as, oh my God, okay, this is just a TikTok strategy that I need to kind of like rework. Is it a different day of the week? There are so many different factors, but you kind of put thought into everything. And that is why being, you know, educating yourself and being well versed in the different areas of the business that you're in is going to be so helpful for you as an independent artist that's trying to break into the scene on your own with limited resources in the beginning. So I think that having like the ability to look at it 360 and to have a bird's eye view on it will really help, you
Absolutely.
know, your journey.
Reinventing.
Yes.
Yes. So, you know, if we've really taken anything here, whether it's acceptance or rejection, it sounds like Kavita and I are both on the same page in sharing that it's one thing, and that's fuel. It's fuel for your passions, for your creativity. It's redirection, and it's something to look at optimistically.
Absolutely. And keep going, keep pursuing it, and the skills that you develop in the journey, you're always the most interesting person in the room, whatever business or line of work you're going to be in. So take that positively, take that learning. Learnings never go to waste. Time
Right.
spent educating yourself is never going to go to waste. Figure out how to pivot and to use that to your advantage in going forward.
Yes, and if you love it, like you said, don't give up.
Absolutely.
One of my agents told me a story. She's like, one of my clients has really had it rough. It's been so slow. They haven't booked much in like 2, 3, 4 years. I mean, that's slow, especially if you've come off of a high when you're working. He told her to just, he wants to pull the plug on it. And she said, just be patient, just be patient. It was around that time that Disney was auditioning for their Mulan live action film.
Okay.
And guess what? He booked a principal role in it.
Oh my
in
gosh.
Disney's Mulan, now back in a huge Disney live action, huge budget film, attending red carpet premieres, propelling his career now to feed into other TV shows and other films. And then it picks back up again.
In fact, something that has a lot of the topic we're talking about, acceptance and rejection, is this new show that I've been watching called The Idol.
The Idol.
Right?
On Max.
And the girls have been watching it intently, and I was kind of watching it peripherally while I was cooking dinner. It's engrossing, and I enjoyed it. However, that show is about, it touches upon the music industry, the film and TV industry, and it is about acceptance and rejection. It is about this huge starlet that is about to break into the scene, and how the people around her seemingly are rejecting her idea of a new song, or her way of wanting to kind of project her artistry a little more and have more of a say in the kind of music that she should be putting out.
Control. It's really about controlling her. So it stars Lily Rose Depp,
Yes.
who is an incredible actress.
Yeah.
It's the first time I've really seen her perform,
Yeah.
and I think she's really killing the role.
Super genius.
And of course, the series is a series for the Weeknd.
Yes.
He's so talented. And the fact that he's created a television series that really is hyper on the music aspect and giving opportunities to musicians, like one of the stars of Blackpink's also
Right.
in it.
Exactly.
It's super exciting for me and you to talk about because of our backgrounds combined.
Exactly. It touches upon literally your world and mine. It's the colliding of both these worlds, right? You're exactly right. I mean, for him to delve into such a complex film and TV project is great, and it puts him like in a new artistic zone. And the story itself touches upon all of these things, and it's so important to watch it and to kind of see. It's a little intense. It's a little dark at times, and it shows you the extreme side of the industry. So kind of take it with a pinch of salt. It's entertainment at the end of the day.
I like the story because it is semi-realistic, I would say.
Yeah.
But, it has triggered me in some ways because it is so dark. It does get, a little bit grimy and edgy. It is a HBO now called Max show, and we do see those darker elements. Do you feel triggered or the same way? Do you think it's realistic? I mean, what about the darkness?
No, in fact,
where are you with that?
Yeah, great question. The feedback that I'm getting from a lot of people that have been watching the show is it isn't as realistic as, there are pieces of it that are super real. The whole premise of it is very realistic. Somebody wanting to come in and say, hey, I think your team should change because the team's not really kind of respecting your artistry, and they're not letting you do what you want or create the way you want to. That stuff happens. If something makes you feel jaded,
edgy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's an edgy take, and they straight up call out and give tribute to Britney Spears, and they compare Jocelyn, the character's career, to Britney Spears, who recently was freed after the Free Britney movement, who was stuck in a 13-year conservatorship, and is now getting her life back on track and trying to find her own happiness and her own voice after she shared it with the world for all these years. And the story, the Idol, does poke at that.
Yes,
and
definitely.
poke at Jocelyn's version. And I'm curious to see the other characters. But beyond that, just so we don't give away too many spoilers, I want to talk for a minute about the vehicle, the Idol. And what a great idea. The Weeknd used his own content creation, right, to create his own project and bring his friends in and to be able to use his music and soundtrack other artists. Like, for example, the pilot featured a really cool remix by Madonna.
Right.
And it was trending as one of the top songs.
Yep.
He broke records on Spotify with the show's soundtrack. And every episode's going to have new music. What a cool way to give artists a platform. So let's talk a little bit more about creating a platform and maybe that one itself.
Right. For him itself, imagine he's showcasing a side of him that we've all not seen as an actor. This is an example of how you can develop other skills while you are honing in on one, so that you have opportunities to showcase the different sides of your artistry.
I love that. Absolutely. And it was shot in his mansion, in his home.
Oh, I didn't know that.
If their goal was dark and edgy, I'm definitely feeling that. Sexual, dark, edgy, tension, grungy. And it's giving that side of the business. But there's always a lesson to learn, and the emotional journey you're going on with these characters, and seeing that, they're doing this for the passion that's in their hearts is really what's driving the story.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very excited to watch the show unfold.
Yes, so let us know what you think about The Idol. If you're watching it, you can leave it in the comments. Remember, you can connect with us on TikTok, on Instagram, even on YouTube. If you're watching this, you can leave it in the comments.
Yes, absolutely. So very excited.
Yes.
And so, wow, we finished our first episode.
Yes, and we'll be back next week with another episode with a new topic.
Yes.
Today was, like you heard, acceptance and rejection.
Yes.
Next week, come back and find out what the topic is, plus a new pop culture moment.
Yes.
We're so excited to tell you more.
Absolutely. Thank you all for joining us. This is so
Yes, and again, this is Walid Chaya right here.
Kavita Raj.
And you're listening to Lights,
Camera,
and Conversation. Cheers.
Cheers.
I need a refill.
Yum.
Hey, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow on Instagram and TikTok. We love interacting. Also, the content in this podcast episode is provided for general informational purposes only. By listening to our episode, which we love, you understand that no information contained in this episode should be construed as advice from Lights, Camera, Conversation or our individual authors, hosts, or guests. Nor is it intended to be a substitute for research on any subject matter. We always encourage you to do your research. Reference to any specific product or entity does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation by Lights, Camera, Conversation. The views expressed by speakers are their own, and their appearance on our program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity that they represent. Thanks for listening, and until next time, have a great day.